In your TED talk, you talk about part of getting to know yourself is getting to unknow yourself. Why do we have to get to unknow ourselves?
Well, I think that so many people think I'm going to come into therapy and I'm going to learn so much about myself. And you do. But part of learning about yourself is learning what the faulty narratives are that you've been carrying around, whether it's I'm unlovable or I can't trust anyone or I'm no good at this or this thing is wrong with me. These, again, are stories that you picked up about yourself from a long time ago. And it might not even have been your parents. It might have been at school. Maybe you were bullied in school, or maybe you were in an environment that, well, maybe you had ADHD and you were told you weren't smart because people didn't realize that you learned differently and you actually are quite intelligent. So you have these stories. So it's to unknow. People come in and say, well, I'm not that. I'm not really smart. Well, you have to unknow that because that might not be true. Let's find out. So it's really, it's interesting because I was a writer long before I was a therapist, and I still am a writer, but I use so much of writing and narrative in the therapy to kind of help people edit their stories. Let's look at, is the protagonist going in circles or is the protagonist moving forward? Who are the supporting characters, and do the major characters need to be more minor characters in your life? And do some of the minor characters need to be more major characters? And what is going to be the next chapter? How do we look at where the story is going? So a lot of this is unknowing stuff about the character, which is you. If you come up with a character as a writer and you say, well, this person's not very smart, and they're kind of weird and they're unlovable, well, you're going to write the story a certain way thinking the character has those traits. But if you say, actually, this person's quite smart and they're quite lovable and they're quite attractive, well, you're going to write a different next chapter for them.